You're watching BCTV. We're all about Branford. You're watching BCTV, Branford Government Television, a service of Branford Community Television. This program is brought to you in part through the support of the town of Branford.
All right, we're going to get started tonight. Town of Branford Board of Finance meeting and budget workshop for Monday, March 31st, 2025. First on the agenda is approval of minutes of the February 24th, March 17th, March 18th, and 20th meetings. And I believe we have minutes for the 24th, 17th, and 18th. So those are the ones that we would be approving or not.
I'll move it, Joe.
Moved by Jeff, second by Pam. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Next is citizens communication. If anybody would like to address the board with regards to the agenda, they're welcome to do it now. Okay, move on to number 3, which is to consider and if appropriate approve requests from the probate court for the following fiscal 25 transfer from contingency $1,950 and technology acquisitions $1,950. And we did receive a letter from Judge Charles Tiernan and asking that he had mentioned this in his presentation for the 26 budget, and Jim is suggesting that we would fund it in the 25 budget. Jim?
Sure. And again, this was a request for 3 scanners that they would be purchasing through the State Probate Office of Technology. The $1,950 will cover it. That leaves a balance in contingency of $537,974.
Thank you. Questions on this transfer request for 25?
Joe, here, quick question.
Jeff?
Jim, does the town of North Branford participate in something like this too?
Yeah, the way our arrangement with North Branford works is at the end of the year we take all of the probate expenditures and then we add some indirect costs, and it's a prorated formula based on the town's 2 grand list.
Thank you.
Okay, other questions? Somebody want to move it?
I'll move it.
Moved by Jeff. Second by Harry. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Item number 4, to consider if appropriate approve a request from Human Services for the following fiscal 25 transfer from property auto liability, $4,000, from seasonal part-time, $21,000, from furniture and fixtures, $1,000, for a total of $26,000, transferring into other purchase services for $25,000, and purchase services repairs for $1,000. Welcome, Peter.
Welcome, Joe. That works. I think last week when I presented our budget, we had a part-time APRN that decided to move on, and so we had to make up the difference from our contracted APRN, the prescribed medication. So to make up for the extra time that she's going to be putting in there and the number of clients she's going to be seeing, we had to make some transfers. So that's where this money comes from, is to make up the difference to the contractor so she can continue prescribed medications to her clients.
Okay, thank you. Questions on this request? And this is within the Human Services Fund, special fund?
I'll move it, Joe.
I'll second it.
Seconded by Yvette. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
All set. Thank you. Next is item number 5, to consider and if appropriate approve the following bond resolution And I'll read the short version. Resolve that the resolution entitled Resolution Authorizing an Appropriation of $600,000 for the Branford High School Roof and Skylight Replacement Project and the financing of said appropriation by the issuance of said appropriation by the issuance of general obligation bonds of the town and notes in anticipation of such bonds in the amount not to exceed $600,000, therefore be adopted and recommended for adoption by the representative town meeting. This resolution is pursuant to the superintendent's request for funding for this Branford High School roof and skylight replacements. Welcome.
Thank you. Bye.
Okay.
If I can talk a little bit about some of the history of this, if it's helpful.
Sure.
I'm only in my second year here, but it's not the first time I've talked about the roof with all of you. And this situation predates me by several years and predates Brendan as well. But the way we're approaching the project at this point is, no matter how we approach it, it's a multi-summer project. And we've also been paused a little bit since we're going through the master facilities planning process as well, to make sure anything that we do right now is something that we would do no matter what the result of the master facilities planning is. And so for this summer specifically, we would be looking at replacing the skylight system, and it is doable this summer with a concurrent RFP that is out. And the following summer, we would move on to looking at the larger project.
Just review the larger project, which is
I'll turn it over to Brendan, but we've had several assessments done since over the past 2 years, and Brendan can talk a little bit about what we did last summer as our triage emergency planning and what the full-scale project looks like.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah, so this is, it's a multi-phase project. We have a cow wall system that is failed at the end of life, and then the roof. There are 22 different roofing systems, 24 different roofing systems on the roof, and 19 of the 24 are either failed or at the end of life. So this is a multi-phase project that we need to, we need to tackle due to, not trying to interrupt school the least we can. These are summer projects, so this part would aim to replace the skylight portion that are above the commons, the cafeteria area, where we do have some water leaking in to the building.
Okay. And what do you anticipate for next year?
Next year, we would like to go out to bid for the roof.
Okay, for all of the roofs? Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
As one project, one large project.
Gotcha.
And then there are some other cow wall systems that are part of the roof, part of the skylights that will need to be done eventually as well, phased into the project.
Questions on this request?
Brandon, I have a question. Somewhere in the literature you sent, we're going to rip that roof all the way down, get rid of all those other layers and start from, I guess, the beginning?
Right.
Okay.
Yep. So it'll be, we'll have one consistent roof on it, all EPDM roof throughout. Even though they're different portions, different phases, it'll be one consistent roof.
Very good, thank you.
Okay, other questions? If not, would somebody initially like to make a motion to waive the reading of the entire resolution?
I'll move it.
I'll second.
Moved by Jeff, seconded by Harry. Discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, so, and then on to the resolution that I read previously. Is someone like to move that?
I'll move it.
I'll second.
Deborah?
Moved by Deborah, seconded by Jeff. Discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. All set.
Thank you very much.
Okay, item number 6 is to consider and if appropriate approve a request from the finance director for the benefit of the fire department for the following transfer request. From fund balance, transfer $115,000 into capital projects for $115,000, and then within fund 700 there'll be a transfer in and $115,000, and the expenditure would be for the fire station alerting system. It was presented to us by the fire fire department at budget time, and based on some analysis, Jim is recommending that we fund it out of fund balance for the current year. Welcome, Chief and folks. Would you like to just review that request again?
Sure. We presented this during the budget hearing. This is our station alerting system, which is the simply a bunch of components, including controllers and monitors, wiring, relays that once the call is dispatched in our computer-aided dispatch system, and sends it out to the fire stations, turns on the lights, alerts the firefighters, and gets them moving quicker. So the current system was original with fire headquarters. It is approaching obsolescence, and we have nothing at the new station and Station 9, so we're asking for this capital outlay.
What's the expected life of this?
The current one's 13 years old, and it probably could just continue for a while but we can't make any changes to it. That's the problem that we're having with the current one, and we have a lot of changes that go with call type matches a response, and then that gets entered into the system, and when it's dispatched, it spits it out. The company that we worked with originally was on the West Coast, and they have proven to be extremely difficult. So this one is cloud-based. We won't have to send components back to California to reprogram things or change things. We can do it whenever we really want to. So theoretically, as long as the hardware keeps working, it should be quite a while.
This is a bid situation or a sole?
We would bid this, Joe, and what we did do prior to coming up with the budget request was we solicited 3 quotes essentially from different companies, but until we actually nailed down the specifics, we just kind of went with an amount we felt would more than cover the needs.
Okay, questions from the board?
I'll move it, Joe.
Chairman Mooney?
Yes.
I mistakenly left off the resolution, which is on Jim's memo of March 28th. Would you like me to read it?
I think I have it.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Yep. All right, so I'll read the proposed resolution, which essentially increases the budget and funds this request. So resolved that the Board of Finance recommends to the RTM an increase in appropriations for the fiscal year 2025 general fund budget from $144,067,612 to $144,182,612. This increase will be funded through an appropriation from fund balance and will be used to fund the replacement of the fire station alerting system. Jeff?
I moved it.
Moved. Second by Pam. Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
All right, good luck. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, item number 7 is the budget work session, which the board will engage in directly to review the proposed budget and to incorporate any recommended changes by the board, and then with a vote at some point to the RTM for the budgeted amount for fiscal 2026. Okay, so as we know, or the public may know, is that we had public hearings on the 17th, 18th, and 20th of March, which every department had the opportunity to present their budget as requested, and town and Board of Ed, including capital items and special funds. And the proposed amount, requested amount was expenditures of $144,457,978, with net to be raised from taxation of $124,246,000, and represented a 6.9% increase in expenditures and was based on a grand list of $5.597 billion that equated to a mill rate of 22.69. The board has reviewed and deliberated among themselves and with the administration, and we also considered what the changes were made in the February meeting in order to try to reduce some of the expenditures and fund things in a different way. And also recognize that, in fact, whether or not the tax levy changes, the shift in the property taxes is definitely changing to the residential, and looking at the impact as to on the residential property owner. The board has looked at things, and there'll be some recommended increases in revenues. There'll be some reductions in expenditures, and I think it'll be a productive evening tonight to move through a good budget and recommend it to the RTM. So why don't we start with the Board of Ed, and the Board of Ed operating. Let's see. The operating was a request of $69,214,640. There's an overall reduction of $50,000 recommended, and that would be a total of $69,164,640. Is there a discussion or questions on this, or does somebody want to move it?
I'll move it, Joe.
Moved by Jeff.
Second.
Second by Harry. Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Now, traditionally, we look at the Board of Ed capital items as well. For the items from the Board of Ed were $3,155,000. We would recommend a $600,000 number, which would essentially be the priorities of the Board of Ed at this time. 21st century classrooms at $50,000, technology equipment at $260,000, furniture at $175,000, flooring at $115,000, for a total of $600,000, and also looking at the lease fund, which then is for $800,000. So the total would be $1,400,000, although $600,000 is really the impact from taxation at this point.
I'll move it, Joe.
Moved by Jeff.
I'll second.
Second by Deborah. Discussion?
Chairman, can you repeat those numbers again, please?
Sure. 21st century classroom, $50,000. Technology equipment, $260,000. Furniture, $175,000. Flooring, $115,000. For a total of $600,000. And then the device program, which is, again, the lease portion, would be $800,000. Okay. And did we get a motion on that?
Yeah, I think
I lost track of it.
Yes.
Okay. Additional discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, thank you. Okay, next we'll move on, and what I'm going to do is to look at the department by department through the general fund, and I'm going to use the summary sheet that was provided by the finance office, and then we have a sheet here that has got some recommended changes. When we get to those, we'll pick them up as well. So for legislative, let's see. request was $20,432. That's what we would recommend, $20,432. Is there a motion on that?
I'll move it.
Second.
Moved by Jeff, second by Harry. Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, executive, recommended amount $347,779.
I'll move it.
I'll second.
Moved and seconded by PM. Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Finance recommended $155,835. No change.
I'll move it.
Moved seconded by Harry. Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Fiscal services, $620,746. No change.
I'll move it.
Moved by Jeff.
I'll second.
Seconded by Harry. Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Next is assessor, $537,745. No change.
I'll move it.
Second.
Moved by Harry, seconded by Jeff. Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Board of Tax Review, $15,355. No change.
Move it.
I'll second.
Moved and seconded by Pam. Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Tax collector, $672,446. No change recommended.
I'll move it.
Moved by Harry.
I'll second.
Chairman Mooney, excuse me. Chairman Mooney.
Yes.
Bob Imparato indicated that he was going to reduce the sticker line item by half during his presentation. So he was suggesting to reduce it by $3,750.
$3,750. You want to pick that up, Jim, or not? Or you want to leave? Maybe the RTM can take care of that one.
Leave it.
We could pick it up.
Can pick it up? Okay, so what's the revised amount?
So it went from $672,446 to $668,696, a reduction of $3,750.
Okay, based on that input, moved by Harry,
I'll second it again.
seconded by Yvette. Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Thanks, Lisa.
Sorry.
Town clerk, $299,666. No change.
Move it.
Lisa wants to increase it by 37.
That's in the salary line item.
That'll make things easier. Okay.
I moved it, Jeff.
Moved by Jeff,
I'll second.
seconded by Deborah. Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Legal services, $450,000. No recommended changes.
I'll move it.
Moved by PM.
Second.
Seconded by Jeff. Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Labor relations, request was $93,600, recommending $83,600, reduction of $10,000.
I'll move it.
Moved by Jeff,
I'll second.
second by Yvette. Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Next is probate court, $18,350, no change.
Move it.
Moved by Jeff,
Second.
second by Pam. Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Elections, $293,743. It's a reduction of $83,775 from the request, and the reason being is of the primarily of the registrar's ability to change their salary midterm, because we vote on a biannual basis. So that amount is that going into contingency, Jim?
Yes.
That's an actual cut, and then other amounts are moving into contingency.
Okay. So the number is going to be $293,743. That's the budget. Somebody want to move it?
I'll move it.
We don't really take input, but
Just wanted to say again what he just said.
Okay, there are some cuts in here, but they'll be moving to contingency where a certain amount as well. Okay, Jeff moved it. It was seconded by Deborah. Discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. I believe we're on planning and zoning. The request was 456, 476. Recommended is 431, 476, a cut of 25,000.
I'll move it.
Second.
Moved by Harry, seconded by Jeff. Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. ZBA, 11,549. No recommended changes.
I'll move it. I'll second.
Moved and seconded. Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Economic development, 23,550, no change.
I'll move it.
Moved by Jeff,
Second.
second by Pam. Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Inland wetlands, 145,911, no recommended changes.
I'll move it.
Moved by Jeff,
I'll second.
seconded by Deborah. Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Municipal government buildings, 1,314,129, no recommended changes.
I'll move it.
Moved by Jeff,
I'll second.
second by Yvette. Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Cable TV, 27,923, no change.
I'll move it.
Moved by Jeff,
Second.
second by Pam. Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Information technology, 1,417,834, no recommended changes.
I'll move it.
I'll second.
By Deborah, seconded by Jeff. Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
HR, Human Resources, 379,561, no change.
Move it.
Second.
Moved by Jeff, seconded by Harry. Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Next is police services. Request of $8,402,892, no change.
I'll move it.
Moved by Jeff,
I'll second.
seconded by Yvette. Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Special detail for police, $525,000, no change.
I'll move it.
Moved by
Second.
Harry, seconded by Jeff. Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Next is Department of Emergency Management, $30,500, no change.
I'll move it.
Moved by
Second.
Deborah, seconded by Pam. Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Fire protection, $9,535,394, no change.
I'll move it.
Moved by Harry,
Second.
seconded by Jeff. Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Building inspection and enforcement, $247,825, no change.
I'll move it.
Moved by Jeff,
Second.
seconded by Harry. Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Other protection, animal control, transfer out, $399,738, no change.
I'll move it.
Moved by Jeff,
Second.
seconded by Pam. Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Next is Public Works, $2,944,654, no change.
I'll move it.
Moved by Deborah,
Second.
moved by Jeff. Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Water pollution control, $600,000, transfer out.
I'll move it.
Moved by Yvette,
Second.
seconded by Jeff. Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Solid waste management and recycling, $5,172,143, no recommended changes.
I'll move it.
Moved by Harry,
Second.
seconded by Jeff. Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Engineering, $515,160, no change.
I'll move it.
Moved by Jeff,
I'll second.
seconded by Yvette. Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Human Services, $1,288,494. No recommended changes.
I'll move it.
Moved by Deborah,
I'll second.
second by Jeff. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Commission for the Elderly, $395,397. No recommended changes.
I'll move it.
Second.
Moved by Jeff, second by Pam. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
East Shore Health, $414,488. No recommended changes.
I'll move it.
Moved by Yvette,
I'll second.
second by Jeff. Some discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Rec Department, $1,373,232. No recommended changes.
I'll move it.
Moved by Deborah,
I'll
I'll
second.
second.
second by
Yvette.
Doesn't matter.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Parks and Rec, $26,800.
Parks and
Parks and Open Space.
Parks and Open Space, right. Now, this has got a new budget detail, correct? So that was submitted. That is, just so that people are aware of that. What page is that on? Chance. Space. Just want to make people aware.
61.
61, okay. So, the original request, we're considering this a resubmission. So just so you know, it's because the detail in the special fund, which we'll look at, will be different. But for here, it's the 26,800 is the same, so it doesn't impact taxation. Okay.
I'll move it.
Moved by Jeff,
Second.
second by Pam. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, Docks and Recreational Facilities, $21,853. No change.
Move it.
Moved by Jeff, second by Harry. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Public Celebration, $48,735. No recommended changes.
I'll move it.
Moved by Deborah,
I'll second.
second by Jeff. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Conservation Commission, $11,772.
I'll move it.
Moved by Pam,
I'll second.
second by Jeff. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Blackstone Library, $1,789,500. No change.
I'll move it.
Moved by Yvette,
Second.
second by Jeff. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Olivia Wallace, $299,959. No change.
I'll move it.
Moved by Jeff,
I'll second.
seconded by Yvette. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Debt service, principals, $6,640,000. No change.
I'll move it.
Moved by Deborah,
Second.
seconded by Jeff. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Debt service interest, $2,440,106. No change.
I'll move it.
Moved by Pam,
Second.
seconded by Jeff. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Pensions and contributions, $7,268,652. No change.
I'll move it.
Moved by Yvette,
Second.
second by Jeff. Is there discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Employee group insurance, $6,697,267. No change.
I'll move it.
Moved by Harry,
Second.
second by Jeff. Is there discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Municipal insurance, $2,681,932. No change.
I'll move it.
Moved by Pam,
I'll second.
second by Yvette. Is there discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Contingency increase of $61,400, which is basically transfer from the registrar, a portion from the registrar's cut, for a total budget of $1,054,996.
I move it.
I'll second.
Seconded by Deborah. Thank you. A discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. So now we'll move on to the capital projects. And then we'll go back to the special funds and such.
There was a line item, 4,800, Board of Ed? Or did we already do that?
We did the Board of Ed. Which one are you looking at?
Did we do the Board? On this page? It was Board of Ed, 4,800.
Yeah, we did that first.
Do that first?
Thank you.
Yeah. I think we're all set there, Pam.
Okay, great, thanks.
Okay, so I'm looking at the capital plan summary that Jim put together, which lists the departments. First one would be, I'll run through them all here. Assessor requested was $75,000. We're looking to fund $50,000. Why don't I run through these and then we can vote on these as one, okay? Or if we can go back and pick on any ones that we like. How's that? Board of Ed, we already took care of. Next is Commission for the Elderly, $35,000 was what they asked for their sinking fund. Fund that. On the engineering, we would fund the $250,000 as requested for sidewalks and $15,000 for the LTA, Local Traffic Authority. For fire, we would, they asked for $1,307,820. We provide them with $842,820. So we would push out or not fund the preliminary design at $350,000. We would fund the $60,000 for the hydraulic equipment, for $44,000 for the ambulance. $115,000 we already took care of. The defibrillator, we would fund at $43,820. The breathing apparatus at $125,000. The radio sinking fund at $70,000. The ambulance sinking fund at $100,000. The fire apparatus at $400,000, for a subtotal of $842,820. GGB, we would. They asked for $129,000. We would not fund those at this time. IT asked for $160,000 for police technology as well as police mobile data. We would fund those at $160,000. Blackstone Library, we would fund at the $40,000 requested. Parks and Open Space asked for $20,000 for the Hilltop Reserve. We would not fund that. There may be some grants or other means to fund that, so that's just pushed out into the other column. For police services, they asked for $425,844. We would fund that, which would include the ballistic vests for $10,044, the portable radios at $9,800, the speed detection at $12,000, the cars at $136,500, and the the vehicle equipment at $136,500, and the police vehicles at $257,500. Public Works requested $930,000. We would fund that at $550,000 for road resurfacing, $225,000 for apparatus, sinking fund, ADA ramp of $20,000, downtown center maintenance at $25,000, sidewalk repair at $45,000, and sidewalk replacement at $65,000.
Seawall was the first one.
I'm sorry. Oh, seawall repair. Thanks. At $45,000, and then sidewalk repair at $65,000. Thank you, Jeff.
Well,
Recreation, they requested $480,000. We would fund $430,000. We would fund the Tennis courts at $25,000, the foot park replacement at $300,000, the lawn tractor at $25,000, the parks and tree pruning at $20,000, the court renovation at $20,000, the field renovation at $20,000, we pass on the truck, and the fencing we fund at $20,000, for a total of $430,000. Solid waste we fund at $100,000. The renovation to the tax office we take a pass on. Treasurer requested $815,000. We would fund out of taxation a lease for the Public Works at $170,000, the technology lease for Board of Ed at $170,000. Jim, what's the $250 other on that?
That's the Board of Education, and their budget is also budgeting contributions in.
Okay.
I'm sorry, the Board of Education and their budget is also putting contributions into the lease fund.
Thank you. And Coastal Resiliency Fund at $225,000. So basically requested the total of what was requested. As far as the sewer utility fund, they asked for $450,000, again, not out of taxation, and we would fund, we would approve that utilization out of the sewer utility fund for the pump station repairs and rebuild of $50,000, the sewer line and manhole repair at $50,000, the pump station at $50,000, sewer reserve at $225,000, the apparatus contribution is $75,000. A total of $450,000. So out of taxation, the amount from general fund, which is the recap of what I listed, was $4,443,664. When we take a vote on that.
I'll move it.
Moved by Jeff.
I'll second.
Second by Deborah. And is there discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And then the sewer utility fund of $450,000.
I move it.
Moved by Yvette.
I'll second.
Second by Jeff. Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Also vote on the other two. We voted on the $800,000, so that's covered. The $270,000, which is, that's included in the Board of Ed budget, right, Jim? Okay, so that doesn't need a vote. Okay, so that's moving on to the special funds. We've covered all the capitals and the lease funds, so we'll just go through the page would be start with the open space, which is on page 61. And so their budget revised submission is $96,219. And again, the amount from taxation of $26,800 is unchanged. So I'll entertain a motion on that $96,219.
I'll move it.
Moved by Jeff.
Second.
Second by Harry. Discussion, questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, next is Board of Ed Special Fund for Shoreline Adult Ed, a total of $72,500. Somebody want to move it?
I'll move it.
Moved by Yvette.
I'll second it.
Second by Jeff. Is there discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Next is School-Aged Child Care Fund of $633,857.
I'll move it.
Moved by Jeff.
I'll second it.
Second by Yvette. Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Next is Sewer Assessment Fund of $17,000.
I'll move it.
Moved by Yvette.
I'll second it.
Second by Jeff. Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Next is sewer utility fund, a total of $5,159,306. No change.
I'll move it.
Moved by Jeff. Second by Harry. Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Next is animal control, $507,538. No change.
I'll move it.
Moved by Jeff.
Second.
Second by Pam. Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Next is Human Services Fund of $2,092,494.
I'll move it.
Moved by Jeff.
I'll second it.
Second by Yvette. Is there discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, one of the other items that the board has reviewed and with the finance department to make some adjustments is on the, we went over the expenditures, and we're also recommending some adjustments on the revenue side. We would increase foot trust by $25,000, employee insurance copay of $20,000, increasing settlement income by $70,000, and increasing the contribution from fund balance by $2.6 million. So those would, along with the changes that the board has made tonight with expenditures, that would essentially have an increase in expenditures of 4.7% from the requested, I believe, 6.8, so reduction to 4.7. And it would essentially increase the levy by 2.13% approximately, and that would equate to a mill rate of 21.49. So again, it's to some extent it's realizing that there is a shift to the residential property owner. This, I think, recognizes that. We also obviously looked at out years with the finance and the first selectman as to the impact in out years, and also some of the bonding and capital requests that are coming down the pike. So,
Mr. Chairman, could you repeat those highlighted numbers again, please?
Sure. What I had mentioned was that the increase in expenditures is approximately 4.7%. That we would increase the revenue estimate by $2,715,000, which includes the foot trust at $25,000, the employee insurance copay of $20,000, settlement income of $70,000, and fund balance of $2.6. So those are increases from the original proposed budget. That would increase. That would equate to approximately a mill rate of 21.49 based on the amended grand list number of $5,651,124,978 at this time, and that essentially equates to a increase in levy or taxes that are raised during the process of a little over 2%, 2.1%. Which I think in this day and age is pretty reasonable, and again, still recognizing that there is a shift to the residential property owner. With that, we have a timeout so that we can prepare a multitude of resolutions that need to be done in order to finalize our recommendation to the RTM, so we'll take 5 minutes. Thank you. Okay, we're going to resume with the final resolutions that are required in order to recommend to the RTM. Resolved that the Board of Finance recommends to the RTM an appropriation of the Board of Education operating and capital for fiscal 25-26 in the amount $69,934,640 to the Board of Education operating budget and capital for fiscal 25-26.
I'll move it.
Moved by Jeff.
Second.
Second by Harry. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Next, resolve that the Board of Finance recommends to the RTM an appropriation of $71,764,033 for all other town departments for fiscal 25-26.
I'll move it.
Moved by Jeff.
I'll second.
Second by Deborah. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Resolved that the Board of Finance hereby pass the following budget for fiscal 25-26. Board of Education operating $69,164,640. Board of Education Special Ed, 0. Board of Education Capital Leases, $770,000. Subtotal Board of Ed at $69,934,640. Town Department, $71,764,033 for a total of $141,698,673.
I'll move it.
Moved by Jeff.
I'll second.
Second by Deborah. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Resolved that the Board of Finance recommends to the RTM an appropriation of $96,219 to the Open Space Fund budget for fiscal 25-26.
I'll move it.
Second.
Moved by Yvette, seconded by Jeff. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Resolved that the Board of Finance recommends to the RTM an appropriation of $17,000 to the Sewer Assessment Fund budget for fiscal 25-26.
I'll move it.
Second.
Moved by Yvette, seconded by Jeff. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Resolved that the Board of Finance recommends to the RTM an appropriation of $72,500 to the Board of Education's Shoreline Adult Education Enrichment Fund budget for fiscal 25-26.
Second.
Motion made by PM, seconded by Yvette. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Resolved that the Board of Finance recommends to the RTM an appropriation of $633,857 to the Board of Education School-Age Child Care Fund budget for fiscal 25-26.
Move it.
Moved by Jeff. Second by Pam. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
I resolve that the Board of Finance recommends to the RTM an appropriation of $5,159,306 to the wastewater treatment plant budget for fiscal 25-26.
So moved.
Yvette?
Second.
Second by Jeff. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Resolved that the Board of Finance recommends to the RTM an appropriation of $507,538 to the Animal Control Fund budget for fiscal 25-26.
So moved.
Moved by
Yvette.
Jeff, second by Pam.
Okay.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Resolved that the Board of Finance recommends to the RTM an appropriation of $2,092,494 to the Human Services Special Fund Reserve Fund budget for fiscal 25-26.
I'll move it.
Second.
Motion been moved by Pam, seconded by Yvette.
That was Deborah.
Deborah, I'm sorry. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. And resolved that the Board of Finance recommends to the RTM an appropriation of $800,000 to the lease fund budget for fiscal 25-26. This is 24-25.
I just saw that as you said.
Should be in 25.
Yep.
Fiscal 25-26.
I'll move it with the correction.
Moved by Jeff.
Second.
Second by Yvette. Is there discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Resolve, and final resolution here, resolve that the Board of Finance recommends to the RTM that with the exception of the first selectman who has elected to take a 0% increase, salaries for the following elected officials increased by 2% for each of their 2-year terms. Second selectman, third Selectmen, Treasurer, Board of Assessment Appeals, RTM Moderator, RTM Clerk, and Finance Clerk.
I'll move it.
Moved by Jeff,
Second.
second by Yvette. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, so that wraps up all of the resolutions. And so I'll just go over, quickly review the summary of the work that the board completed tonight. So the 25-26 budget requirements of $141,698,673 represents an increase from the current budget 24-25 of $6,387,577, or 4.7%. With estimated revenues of $118,772,000, represents an increase of $2,004,000 over the current year. $855,000 increase for state and federal grants, $440,000 for departmental receipts, and an increase of $2,600,000 from fund balance brought forward. That total for fund balance that we're applying for this fiscal year is $6,446,000, an increase of $2.6 million. The net to be raised from taxation is $118,772,000, or a 2.1% increase in net to be raised from taxation, and that equates to a mill rate of 21.49. So with that, I would like to thank the board for their participation and engagement, along with Lisa and Jim Finch, and Catherine and Jamie for all the work that's been done, and the departments for their presentations. Jamie, do you have any words you'd like to express at this time?
Sure. Yeah. Thank you, Joe. I just want to say, thank you to the board. Thank you to the board for, as you said, their deliberations and actions tonight. We discussed this going back easily several months ago, if not a year ago. We knew this was going to be a challenging year, driven largely by the shift in due to the revaluation, the shift onto the residential taxpayer. I just really want to acknowledge the finance department and our longstanding finance director, Jim Finch, who really laid out a strategy. As we know, we made a lot of moves, not only tonight, but as the board knows, in the February meeting, really to kind of try to mitigate as much of the impact of the budget as we could. We knew that there's the shift that is going to occur, is going to happen regardless, but what the board has done tonight is really in large part in terms of what was required. The tax levy is a 2% increase is, very low, as we all know, in comparison to what's happening out there. We're fortunate, again, it's not just what this board and the finance department, once again, a lot of credit to our finance director, Jim Finch. We're fortunate as a community to be in the position that we were in financially. This goes back for decades. It's decades in the making. It's following strong fiscal practices that have been acknowledged by the rating agencies many times over as we go through. So once again, I just want to thank the board, thank the department, and listen, we got to, this year is challenge. Every year faces its own challenge. We know what we did this evening was a large part because we had a healthy fund balance that we were able to bring forward. But I think the board recognizes, and I recognize, that level of funding or bringing fund balance forward is not sustainable year after year. There's always a push to do it, but we have to be prudent in our decisions. And again, every year faces new challenges. So I think the best thing we can do as a community, and which is continue to follow the strong practices that the Board of Finance and Joe, through your leadership and through Jim's leadership, ensuring that we remain conservative in our approach, and that will lead us into year after year we're able to have opportunities to meet such challenges. So once again, thank you to those involved. Look forward to the next step. We're meeting with the RTM as we move forward with this final budget adoption, and be back in May to set the final mill rate. Thanks, Joe.
Okay. Any comments from the board members? Again, thank you very much. Jim?
Yeah. Yes, thank you, Jamie. Thank you, Joe. But I just want to recognize the Assistant Finance Director, Catherine LaBanca, who, as you all know, she quickly and calmly changes numbers on the fly, and she's very attentive to detail. No one outworks her, and the town and the finance department is lucky to have her. So I want to acknowledge Catherine's efforts as well.
Well said, James. Thanks, and thanks, Catherine, to you and your team, too. Okay. Okay, with no other business to come before the board, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll move it.
Moved by Jim, seconded by Pam. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
This program was brought to you in part through the support of the Town of Branford. Watch town meetings and other videos on demand at BranfordTV.org.